Hello, I'm Ella.
And I'm Finlay, and welcome to What the Friday podcast.
In this episode, Miroslav has been speaking to Michaela from Invictus Wellbeing about finding out about mental health.
Let's hear how they got on.
Hello, we'll be finding out more about mental health. My name is Miroslav and I'm joined by Michaela from Invictus.
Hi.
Hi. So the first question is, why is it so hard to find clear information about mental health?
See, that's such a valuable question, and it is one I hear often. One of the main reasons it's difficult to find clear information about mental health is that so much of it is wrapped up in medical and clinical language. So terms like generalized anxiety disorder or major depressive episode might sound distant or intimidating, especially if you're just trying to figure out why you're feeling low or overwhelmed. Unlike physical health, where we grow up learning about, nutrition, hygiene and exercise, mental health education still doesn't have the same visibility in schools or homes. Many of us never learn what anxiety, depression, or stress really looks like beyond stereotypes or what we see on social media. There's also still that layer of stigma. Even if it's improving, people sometimes fear that admitting they're struggling will make them seem weak, dramatic, or broken. That stops a lot of honest conversations from happening. The good news is, though, that it is changing. More young people are talking openly about mental health than ever before. Podcasts like this, for example, and online campaigns and youth-led mental health movements are helping bridge that gap, making information more human, more relatable, and easier to access.
All right, okay. What exactly is mental health and how do I know what's normal?
Mental health is essentially the foundation of how we think, feel, and behave. It influences how we handle stress, connect with others, make decisions, and cope with challenges. It's not just the absence of a mental health condition, it's about overall emotional and psychological well-being. Everyone has mental health, and like physical health, it exists on a spectrum. You'll have days when you feel great and others when you feel off, and that's perfectly normal. What matters is how long certain feelings last and how strongly they impact your life. Feeling sad, anxious, or unmotivated for a day or two is part of being a human. But if those feelings persist for weeks or start to interfere with school, relationships, or your ability to function, then that is a sign to check in with someone. Mental health is dynamic, it changes over time, so depending on what's happening in your life, how you're taking care of yourself and what kind of support you have.
And how can I tell if what I'm feeling is a mental illness or just a bad day?
It's completely normal to have off days. Maybe you're tired, stressed, or just not feeling like yourself, but when that heaviness starts to stick around, it can be a signal that something deeper is going on. Professionals often say that if you've been feeling persistently sad, anxious, numb, or irritable for more than 2 weeks and it's starting to affect your daily routine, that's worth paying attention to. So some common signs include losing interest in things you used to enjoy, constant fatigue or low energy, trouble sleeping, eating or concentrating, withdrawing from friends and family, and even feeling hopeless or thinking about self-harm. Now, these are all red flags that something needs attention. It doesn't necessarily mean you have a mental health condition, but it does mean your mental health needs care and support. So talking to a trusted adult, GP, or a counsellor can help you figure out what's really happening and what might help you feel better.
What are some common mental health issues people my age face and how do they show up?
Well, there's a wide range, but I would definitely say the most common ones for young people include anxiety disorders, so feeling constantly worried or panicky, struggling to relax or avoiding certain situations, depression, ongoing sadness, hopelessness, or a loss of interest in things you used to love, ADHD, which is difficulty focusing, restlessness or impulsive behaviour. Eating disorders could be another one as well, becoming overly focused on food, weight or body image as a way to regain control. And another one would be self-harm, so using physical pain to cope with emotional pain or to feel a sense of release. But it's important to say mental health challenges look different for everyone. Some people become very quiet and withdrawn, others might become irritable, overachieving or appear fine on the outside. There's no single look for mental health condition. That's why listening without judgment and asking genuine questions like, how are you really, can be so powerful.
If I think I might be struggling mentally, what should I do first?
I would say the most important thing you can do is talk to someone. That first step, reaching out, can feel scary and incredibly brave. You don't have to have the perfect words. You can simply say, I haven't been feeling like myself lately. I don't really know what's going on, but I'm not okay. That opens the door for support. Start with someone you trust. So a parent, a guardian, teacher, friend, coach, youth worker. They listen and they help you figure out what the next steps might be. After that, reaching out to a professional can make a big difference. So again, like I'd mentioned, a GP, school counsellor, if they do have one, a therapist, that can help you understand what's going on. Create a plan to help you feel better. The earlier you do this, the easier it often is to manage.
Are there any tools or ways to check in on your mental health yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. There are several online tools like NHS Mood Self-Assessment or resources from Mind, Young Minds and Kooth could help you reflect on how you're feeling. But I do have to bring it to your attention that there are some tools out there that aren't really helpful and they don't have the right information because they're not coming from professionals. So what I would say is definitely keep that in mind and make sure you do your research before using any of these online tools to make sure that you're using the correct ones. Journaling is also powerful. Writing down your thoughts or emotions helps you spot patterns. Maybe you notice your mood's dropped after, scrolling on social media late at night, or you feel calmer after exercise or talking to a friend. Those patterns are data about you. Mood tracking apps can be useful too, but they're not diagnostic, so they're just tools for self-awareness. And most importantly, listen to your intuition. You don't have to justify your feelings to deserve help. If something doesn't feel right, even if you cannot explain why, that's enough reason to talk to somebody.
What makes it hard for young people to ask for help, and how can we change that?
This is such a crucial topic. So one of the biggest barriers is that fear of judgment, worrying that people won't take you seriously or that you'll be seen as dramatic or weak. There's also a cultural pressure to appear like you're doing fine all the time, especially on social media, where everyone looks happy and successful. It creates this false idea that struggling means you're failing. So, for any, there's a belief that you should just get over it, or that mental health issues are a personal flaw, which couldn't be further from the truth. The way we change that is by normalizing the conversation. Mental health is just as important as physical health. We should be able to say, I'm having a hard time mentally, the same ways we'd say, I pulled a muscle. And remember, asking for help early doesn't make you weak, it makes you proactive. It's an act of strength and self-respect.
Can mental health problems go away on their own, or do you always need treatment?
It really depends on the situation and severity. Mild challenges like temporary stress or low mood can often improve with rest, social support, and self-care. Things like exercise, balanced sleep, connection, and a routine can make a big difference. But if something is more serious that is going on, like depression, anxiety disorders, or eating disorders, professional support is usually needed. That might involve therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, or a combination of approaches. The important thing to remember is that mental health problems are treatable. Recovery doesn't always mean everything goes away completely. It means learning to manage symptoms, build resilience, and live a fulfilling life. And the earlier you get help, the better the outcome usually is.
Is therapy only for people with serious mental illnesses?
Not at all. That's one of the biggest myths out there. Therapy isn't just for people in crisis. It's for anyone who wants to understand themselves better, improve relationships, or learn healthy coping strategies. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't only go when you're injured, you go to stay strong. Therapy is the same. It helps you strengthen your mental well-being. Some people go for a few sessions, others for longer. It's not about having something wrong with you. It's about personal growth, emotional maintenance, and building tools to handle life more effectively.
What's one message you wish every young person knew about mental health?
If I could leave one message, it would be this. You're not alone. Everyone struggles at some point. Having difficult emotions doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. Your mental health is just as real and valid as your physical health, and it deserves the same level of care. It's okay to ask questions, to reach out, to take a break, and to put your well-being first. Help is out there, whether it's through friends, family, professionals, or online resources, and things can get better. Recovery isn't always fast or easy, but with the right support, you can absolutely find your balance again. So just to summarise what we spoke about, we often think about mental health struggles meaning something's wrong with us, but really they're a sign that something inside us needs care and attention. The more we talk about mental health openly, without shame, without stigma, the more we create a world where everyone feels safe asking for help when they need it. And that's how real change happens, through understanding, compassion and connection.
Thank you, Michaela, for talking today, and I hope everybody listening has found something useful.
Thank you so much, Miroslav and Michaela, and to both for producing. We hope you found that as interesting as we did.
Not only did they host the episode, but they also undertook all the research too.
You can find lots of interesting podcasts on a variety of subjects by exploring the useful podcast section of the Destination web app. Search destination.org.uk.
You can also find them on Apple, Spotify or YouTube.
If you would like to know more information on the subjects discussed, please check the podcast description.
We'd like to thank Invictus and National Lottery for their support, Jimmy for editing and Youth Social for producing.